Hey, what's up guys? DUI Duelist here, that's right. Mikey 101 no more, he has died. I have taken his place. I don't know, I just feel like DUI Duelist as a name is a bit more recognizable, for the community that I'm sharing this video with, because I think more people know me as that than Mikey 101, that's just kind of like a meme, name joke channel I had. But what we're going to do today is we're going to review some replays, review some plays, um, and this is mostly about like first turn boards for playing around Nibiru, because let me tell you, like, this entire deck, like the entire origin of this variation of the deck was based around me being scared shitless of Nibiru when it was announced. I was like making hard combo yings, like, okay, we can play around this hand trap, blah blah blah, and there's like Nibiru, and obviously now I can't just summon like a jackal with the same consistency as like an Endymion or magician pen deck. We're playing Yang Metalfoes. This is kind of thing we don't really have consistent access to make it work as well in our engine. So we just summon less than 5 times forehead and just so make it like a decent board and just make them have a dead card in hand. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna review some replays. We have 4 replays set up here, and they're gonna be mostly about playing around Nibiru, right? I mean, that's just like, I could go later on. We'll go like just normal first turn plays, ignoring like Nibiru game 1 because no one really main decks it, that we don't have to worry about, But we'll get to that. But for now, let's go over this replay here against this is some generic good stuff, Dragon Link, what nonsense. This is before Agripane got banned. It's an older replay, I just scrounged up whatever would look good in a video, just look decent. But obviously we're going first because, we're going first, obviously. Why would we not go first? And this is when we were playing Pot of Desires in our build. I dropped it, I just didn't feel like... The thing I liked the most about Desires was Ash bait. I liked how it was baiting by Ash, but then I thought about it, I was like, if this is like a Providence or something, it'd be as good as Ash bait, and if it wasn't baited, then we could just get Zafraxi plays and Chain Block for, Ash Blossom. But look at our banishes. It's whatever. We lost Fusion. That's really the only relevant thing we lost, but let's just let the replay go. You see here we get full, so we have the hand, right? We have Zombawa, we have Zephyr access, and we have a Metalfoes scale. That right there is already the quote-unquote like anti-Nibiru board right here, because we'll count the summons. 1, 2, 3, boom, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. So even if he did have an Ash Blossom, the Zephyr would resolve. Okay. Searching, 9 pillars. Boom, pop Zombawa. Set counter. We want to set counter because counter gets procced by 9 pillars, and then since it gets procced on the opponent's turn, we can use his graveyard effect on our turn and get like a huge bunch of value in case our scales get wiped out. Like I mentioned like in a previous video, Metalfoes scales have a lot of recurability and a lot of resilience, So that's just extra value by getting Metalfoes Fusion. Zombawa proc summoning Chiwin, and then then we go end phase. Right now we're at 4 summons, right? Zephyr Zafraxi, Zombawa pop into Chiwin. That's 4 summons. And then end phase. The too bad Nibiru says during the main phase, so we can get our 5th summon out, a little cheat, a little bit. And there we go. We have the setup. We have Chiwin and Grave. We have a Yang Zing on board, right? And we have Zephyr in the extra monster zone, right? To do the synchro play with. I guess technically this this came up before, like a little while ago. Like I guess this plays around Gnome too. If they Gnome Zephyr we don't use it for the anti-Nibiru play if like it's game 2 or something like that. So you're just playing around a lot of hand traps. Our board right now is not super polyable. There's no super poly target I'm aware of that would be able to fuse away our board. They'd have to normal summon something, then super poly. They'd have to use up 3 resources, from their hand, which is still like value. And we still have the 9 pillars negate, right? If they just did that play straight up. So pretty good. If they ashed Zombawa, what we could do is synchro summon to Chaofeng, right? And then when we pop the Chaofeng with 9 pillars, we get to search Ash. We still have the 2 negates kind of play through the Ash on Zombawa, because we know Zephyr would resolve. But if Zephyr New got impermed or something like that, you'll see in a later video what would happen if that happened. Like what plays we can do without 9-pillar search and proccing the Yang Zings on their turn. We'll see. But yeah, we didn't even banish Ash Blossom, so that play was still available to us if we got Ash. But this is a combo deck. You know, I doubt he's even playing any hand traps really. Yeah, it's just good stuff. Just good cards, forehead. Just running good cards. So let's let him play, you know. You can see like when you look at how I play, I'm very conservative with my negates. I like to hold them like really close to heart. So I'm not really threatened by anything he's doing right now. And also I don't want to use, because the second I use the negate, like I do the plays, I'm gonna be able to backseat immediately. You know what I mean? Like I could negate, like obviously if he activated like mind control or something like that, or play like some card that threatened my board, I would have to negate that, right? But if there's no reason to negate like a card that doesn't do something ridiculous or harm my board, then I would rather them just get cards on the field and commit to a play. And then right after that play has been committed to, I'll negate whatever card that they use next that I feel like is, you know, kind of valuable to negate. And he's backseat for 3, so you see what I'm letting him special summon stuff, I'm letting him use Serpent, then he used Nessie in hand, and I negated Nessie because I was thinking like maybe he could draw into something, right? He could draw into some really like crazy extender, like if he had like a really good extender right now, I think by now he have used it. I mean, he did hard draw red med, right? I guess he could have red medded, you know, like just right there. I don't know if you want to count that as an extender or not, but really, that's not what I was really thinking about. I was thinking about something like a Monster Reborn, or hold on, yo, OG Emperor. When you can't afford the prize card, dude. Okay, what is this, like a proxy? That's funny. I literally never noticed that. He's playing some Amorphage stuff, I guess. I mean, whatever. So I negate Nessie, gets shuffled into the deck, right? Then we have Bixie proxying, you know, proxying from being popped by 9 pillars. Then we have Chiwin proxying graveyard from a Yang Zing on the board from, you know, being destroyed. We have counter activating. So even if he had Nibiru in hand just randomly, we still summon less than 5 times on his turn. We're at 3 summons. We're at 3 summons right now. We have Bismugear out, Chiwin out, and Pulao out. Pulao was what I was talking about, like the almost touty level status of like he was almost never played in a Yang Zing deck. Even though like the effect he gave the synchro, you know, right now is kind of decent. You know, we have Striker, we have like I guess Mind Control and Call by the Grave and stuff like that. If they have a different copy of the synchro in the graveyard, you know, his spell protection effect really relevant, but you know, back then it just spell removal wasn't really all that when Metalfoes is relevant. But anyway, so now we have the setup 1 + 6 + 1. Quick maths right now it's 8. Level 8 synchro, bam, shuffle 3 cards, and then he immediately scoops. Well, after we stack our deck, I guess. We chain block, by the way. I can't really think of scenarios where this would be relevant, like chain blocking. The only card that he could be playing, like if he like held a Ghost Ogre. If he had Ghost Ogre, he just didn't use it on my Pula or something like that. Like, you know, not a lot of things I would come up on, but you know, hey, so we spun him for 3. We spun him for 3 cards. Bam, scoop. Obviously, I mean, look, yeah, so this does nothing. This does nothing in his hand. He can't play. He's gonna go OTK next turn. So now we're gonna show you a game that goes on a little longer after that, right? We're gonna see how damn. There we go. We're gonna see how this deck plays past that turn 1 play. You know, we're gonna see in a second. This hand, we're playing it solid, right? Going first again. You know, I mean, this hand's pretty nuts, right? Well, we're gonna see his top deck is Sea Archiver. This hand is pretty amazing. I mean, like you have Signet Mining, discard, spinning, right? That's pretty huge. He already has the Cosmic Cyclone for the 9 pillars to force it out. So he has a lot of cards to play with. And as we see here, this hand, I mean, if I knew he had no hand traps whatsoever, he would literally not be able to play. Like, I think we would get, like, I don't even know, like, Appaloosa for 4 plus 2 negates from the Herald play. Well, it would be nutty. But even if, like, with a blind game 1, if this is the kind of hand I got, I wouldn't go for Giatu effect just because of how debilitating it is when it gets hit by a hand trap. I'd rather do a more conservative play. As you see here, like I'm gonna normal summon Chiwin, pop it twice to get Except for new access, right? That obviously gets us to search. Being able to set combinations pretty huge too. That's pretty spicy, right? Then we're at 2 summons. We're definitely at 2 summons. Then boom, boom, it's 4. So if he had Nibiru, wouldn't have been relevant, wouldn't have mattered. But let's see how he plays through this. 9 pillars, the cosmic. I mean, obviously we have no choice but to do that. Counter floating. I mean, usual stuff. We just saw this like 10 seconds ago. I'm sure you guys have the memory. But sign up mining for Gazelle directly. Let me check if it's like pre-ban list. Is it multiple Gazelles? No, it is. It's post-ban list, right? So he only has 1 Gazelle. Foxy Engrave. You see, this is what I mean. Like, I don't really care if he pops a scale. Like, boom, pop a scale. Whatever. I have counter engrave F. I have combination on board. I have Bismugear. Pardon. I have Bismugear on board. That's really huge. So you can see I'm just letting him play his deck. Like, nothing he's doing is really threatening my board. Nothing he's doing like an insane amount of advantage. I'm just letting him play, and then I'm gonna wait for him to use Stalio F, right? Because it's hard once per turn. So I'm letting him use it, and then I'm gonna backseat him, right? Then so shuffle away his cards, and normally that would probably end his turn like Salad losing 3 cards or even 2 cards, like losing all the cards on their board, getting shuffled after like resolving Gazelle and all that. Like that's pretty debilitating. But this guy just like opened super nutty, so what's he gonna do? Normal summon, bam, make Banelinks, special spinning from grave, making what, blah blah blah, wolf, and he still gets to set rage up with the reincarnated wolf. Attacking over Bismugear, that wasn't really a misplay, honestly. I think if I was playing against myself and I was playing that deck, I think I would attack over Bismugear too, just because like a Metalfoes on board is more valued than the search overall, just because like I get more choice over preserving normal summons and stuff. I can do link plays. But obviously this guy's not going to play optimal against Yang Zings. I mean, I don't blame him. Like that's like saying, oh, you didn't play optimal against freaking like Morphotronics or something. Like you're never. That's the part of this deck's strength is also its unknown factor. Like no one's gonna know the perfect way to play around this deck. But we'll assume. We'll pretend that he played optimally and see what we could have done there. So our normal summon being right. Activate Baxi effect, targeting being on board the Big Scene Grave. Right at this point, this is about when I would use Rage. I've just committed my normal summon. I would probably target Bien and Gold Driver because Chainlink 1 would be Baxia, and so the Bien would miss timing and Gold Driver would be popped, right? Even then, even with that happening, I think we'd still be able to game him, honestly. We would still game him. I wish I could just like recreate this replay, but maybe we'll go through it again. I'll explain how exactly we would have accomplished that, but unfortunately he doesn't do that. So I get Bixie from Grave, B and Float, and at this point, I mean I just have so many cards now, and even if he did, like right now, bam, straight to Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix discard Bixie to force the rage because I don't really I don't want him to hold it for like super long and then just like in some unexpected moment that caught me off guard. I just want to force it. Right here, he targets the Phoenix and the Gold Driver, which is also incorrect. I feel like you'd want to get like all my monsters off board, and Bixie would miss timing because Chainlink 1 would be Phoenix. But then like I said before, like that's like missing timing as a mechanic is not something that's really understood by the player base. To a degree where they would be able to use it in game intelligently. Like when you play against really good players, they might do that. But even if he just popped these two, I think we would still win the game. Obviously, you'll see like we'll set up more negates, more plays, but that's just not the path he went. So pop the scale. I mean, I could see why he would think popping the scale is a good idea if you're like not familiar with the deck, because a pendulum forehead, like don't let them pen. But you can see, just what I mean, like counter Grave F, pop this, boom, Chiwin Grave F again because you set up Chiwin, that's specifically why we summon Chiun off of Being effect, just so we can set up Engrave when we link off the Baxia for the Phoenix, and summon itself back, and we can make another link, set up more Zephyr in the extra deck. And right now, I mean, we're just cleaning up. Even if I didn't have this Gold Driver in hand, what we could have done just like flipped up the combination. I believe, like I think, we set this game one. Yeah, we set this game one. So you can flip it up, pop it, get to search the other scales. So really, we had full scales with no cards in hand, which is, like I said, this deck is really good at getting scales back. So we're gonna pen for 3. We're gonna use Sunlight scale effect because like if we're getting more monsters on board, we're planning to game them anyway. So like if he adds Sunlight Wolves, Zell, who cares, right? Like it doesn't really matter. Search Providence, and the reason why we search Providence is because we're actually going to use Oracle. I mean, okay, we could have just searched Oracle directly, but Providence gives a great protection effect, which technically is correct. I mean, we're going to game him this turn, but let's say hypothetically, like, he just had, like, I don't know, electromagnetic turtle, like, just something that, like, I couldn't game. Like, I just couldn't game, right? Having the Providence protection is technically correct, so I just went there. Deck thins, just basic playing the game stuff. We're going to search the Fraxi because we're planning on special summoning this Fraxi from hand using Oracle F because we're going to fusion summon using Zephyr and Gold Driver. That's going to special the Fraxi from hand. You can see like this deck's like really good at just getting cards. We're using Combination F, which is kind of funny because I literally never use this card. I think I went out of my way to use Combination F. I guess that's why I didn't pop it. I don't know. Like it's just kind of funny. I was able to resolve it and just use it. But you can see that this deck is really good at spamming the board with monsters. Like already we have 5 monsters on board. And so now we're gonna Metalfoes Fusion, draw a card. We're gonna pop it, set the Metalfoes Fusion again. Get combination. The reason why I did that is because I didn't have targets for Mithrium effect to resolve because combination special the stealing from grave that was sent from painful decision. So right now I only have 1 Metalfoes target for Mithrium bound. So what I do is I just go into Nightmare Phoenix after I make Shaman, right? And I don't use Shaman effect yet because it locks out your extra deck summon monsters effects. So we're just gonna go straight into Unicorn, discard a Metalfoes. And that banishes itself and leaves the field after using its effect. I mean, it's kind of funny that he used it anyway. I guess he thought he could, like, maybe survive. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. But so now we have Gold Driver, Metalfoes Fusion, Effects Live, Bouncing Sunlight. Who cares about Balances? And now we're going to use Shaman. And this is going to be some really, like, dirty, nasty stuff, right? We're going to use Shaman, Revive Baxia. Baxia revives Silvered, and the reason why I revived Silvered, even though it wasn't really relevant, whatever card we summon, like even if we summoned a 0-attack monster, we still had game, But we revived Silver because, non-effect monster declares an attack. I can forcibly pop Sanctuary or something. It just shows we can use Shaman to its full advantage in this deck, and then we just OTK, not a really rare sight in the current game state, the current scene of the game. But I just thought that was something cool. And then we're gonna see that again. Like I said, we're going first again, obviously. Like naturally, I guess. Like I don't know, we're going first. Not super interesting. I'll show some going second replays and stuff, like how the deck plays going second. But right now, I'm just gonna focus on like how the deck plays around Nibiru, how it functions, like when you're playing really conservatively, like game 2 and 3, when you suspect they cited Nibiru or cited Gnomes or whatever, or cited GD Crows. Because you'll see it when we do our normal first turn combo, game 1, your opponent's going to be incentivized to side those kind of cards, side Nibiru, side DD Crow, side Gnomes if they run them, like, because the super would be really effective if they main deck them, but just those just aren't cards you main deck, right? But we're not there yet. I'm just teasing it, I guess. I don't know. So we're gonna let this replay play. Standard stuff, Zephyrath high scale, Silver low scale, and you can see how important it is to maintain like these kind of scales. Right, these are optimal scales you want the deck. I mean, 2 Metalfoes scales and still having Silver or Zephyr access is also optimal. I would say put them on the equal level of usefulness to a Zephyrath, Metalfoes Silver or Gold Driver scale. It's just that I think there's a more common. So Pen 2, search out 9 pillars, normal summon, that's our third summon, popping Chi-Win, and then it is a really interesting board because if, let's say, like they fucking, I don't know, night beam. Let's say they night beamed at 9 pillars, right? And destroyed it. I would still be able to backseer for 2 because little known fact about Yang Zings, their quick synchro effects do not require them to use the card itself as a material. Like let's say Bixie, for example. You can see here it says immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using only Yang Zing monsters you control. It doesn't say it has to use itself as a material. So just having Jiatu and Zephyr Niu with any non-tuner, non-pendulum Yang Zing on board allows you to just synchro to Baxia. Pardon. 8 earlier, so you know, some indigestion going on. Now, just spoiler alert. I know this. This might look like Lunar Night Orchis, but unfortunately, I'm just gonna spoil it to you. This is just pure, quote unquote, like danger, pure Lunar Lights. There's no Orchis going around. Like, you look at his extra deck, kind of trashy too. It's just like, no offense to this guy. I mean, like, you know, your Lunar Knights are a formidable deck. You know, I mean, they're just, it's obviously not as good as Lunar Night Orchis.
Let's just pretend that it was, you know, Orchid, like this is the hand he got. Everybody popped that. He popped that. Let's just pretend this is I don't know. I don't know. Let's just pretend there was let's pretend there was like Armor Knight or something. I don't know. No. Yeah, Orchid. Let's say it's an Orchid. Say RG Heart, right? So normal summon chick. I thought, you know, when I was playing this game, I thought this was in my Orchid, right? So I didn't take any risks. I immediately went to set up a chick Tiger. We shuffled the two away, we stacked their deck. And the stacking is actually relevant because, yeah, it was just relevant. Like, he had the stack. We didn't use 9 pillars, we didn't use power that shuffled our deck. So, we stacked, and that was pretty cool. Like, actually, the stack would have also been resolved. The last thing we did was, backseer summon, right? But, you know, I'm just saying this is a really good setup we have here. And I don't know why I made Business Game my top pick. I guess I kind of wanted to replace the Flash. Because you don't want the Flash to high scale long term. That's definitely not viable. Like, if you can, without like spending too many resources, replacing this with the Business Gear would be the optimal play to go for. Which is why, you know, I just added to my hand. I think that, you know, I could pop it with, you know, back effects and stuff like that. But as a result of us adding this card, our ability to play around the do instead of like, you know, special, because technically
Technically, I believe we were Nibiruable on our turn. Like, this is 1 summon, 2, 3, 4. So right here, I should have just made Appaloosa. That's the normal play we do, right? I would have made Appaloosa with these 4 and kept Jiatu. Have 3 scale up, and then like we'd be ready. But then I think I got greedy. I normal summoned this, right? I just normal summoned it. Technically, we were never ever under the threat of being debuted anyway, because we had 9 pillars. And I think that's why I went for the greedy play anyway, because if he had the Nibiru, we'd be fine. We just popped the Chi-Win, because we don't really need him for our play of what we were doing. But for some reason, he just holds it. Like, I don't know if he's waiting for the pendulum summon, but he is absolutely punished by me summoning Appaloosa. And then we're just, at this point, like, it's just game. Like, it's super game. Unbelievably game. To the point where we don't even need anything close to Borosword. Like, damn, like, lose both cards, does nothing. This does nothing. Lose both cards, get more advantage. You can see how the deck just synergizes so well with, like, the Yang Zing as a whole as an engine. Boom, some of the Baxia we arrived on his turn. I mean, we're just styling on him basically, but like we're all set. You know, we just spammed the board. We just did like super duper game. You know, we're just showing off. And I'm surprised he did not quit. Like, I don't know if he was impressed or he just like AFK'd, but I'm surprised he really just didn't quit and make me lose this amazing precious replay. But anyway, I think we're we're at 24 minutes? Okay. I planned on this video being between 15 and 20 minutes, but obviously, we've only looked through like, what, like 2 replays or something? Oh no, we're done. We're done. We have one more replay to look at, It's gonna be a dueling book replay. So we're gonna look here. I'm gonna have a hard time like manipulating the replay. It's gonna be kind of difficult, but you'll see. We're gonna fast forward it. You can see by this hand, like we opened like 2 garnets. Well, quote unquote, like the combination definitely a garnet, right? Divine Strike definitely a garnet. You know. Let me show both hands. Right? We want to see what the opponent had in his hand. Okay. So it's obviously a going second deck we're playing against, so definitely not going to be as overwhelming for our side as it was in our previous replays, where like we just stomped on some like going first deck like Salad or Dragon Link. You know, there's going to be something like I guess slightly more impressive or a little more relevant to how the deck performs. But this hand is definitely just like Anti-Nibiru hand, right? You're gonna see here. We're just gonna adds a Frath, you know, scale. Get the low scale. Preferably Gold Driver Engrave, you know, just slight optimizations. Nothing you really need to worry about. Gold Driver pop in, you know, and we're set up, right? He desires. You never want to use a hard negate on desires, in my opinion. Like you want to use a hard negate on some card that facilitates play or is like a commitment. Like if it's like an Oviraptor, I would negate that. Obviously, like I would definitely negate Oviraptor because it's a normal summon. It's a normal summon. That's basically it, like above like a card like Desires. Or if you negate Desires, they can still have plenty of plays in hand, you know. Even if like if the first thing they activate Desires, maybe I'll tell you like their they're bad, their hand's bad or something. But it's just better to wait for some play commitment when using a negate, right? So he activates fuck, what was that? He activates Shaddoll Fusion, right? And the reason why I negated Shaddoll Fusion because I mean he's playing Dragon probably, and if he resolves Dragon, well he can chain block Dragons. I was worried about like if he chain blocked targeted 9 pillars. If I didn't negate it, the activation of the Shaddoll Fusion, negating okay, like for example, let's say like he sent Dragon plus like Squall to the graveyard or whatever. Chain Link 1 Dragon, Chain Link 2 Squall or whatever, right? That would make me probably force me to use 9 pillars just to get value out of it, just inherently, like I want to get value. And that would make my Ying Zing miss timing. Because the thing that's if 9 pillars can't be used on a chain link that's 2 or higher without making the Yang Zing that pops miss timing, just because of the way chain links work. Like when it's a chain link 1 and then 9 pillars of chain link 2, the first effect, the first card that was activated chain link 1 doesn't ever resolve, but the activation was negated. And so the last thing that happens when you're resolving the chain is 9 pillars destroying a Yang Zing. So that's why those cards don't miss timing. But we'll see. I just negated the whatever. I have the backseat for 3 play, all set up, you know, normal stuff. And then at this point, he activates urgent schedule. And I was thinking like, you know, I could wait for some XYZ plays. I don't really need a shotgun the backseat right now. I mean, he's only committed 2 cards, right? I was expecting like maybe like a normal summon of like the 0 attack guy, you know what I mean? This dude. But you know, I should have had some red flags when he says reading, you know. When he wants to read and he can do something about it, like I wasn't expecting the kaiju, but I also wasn't surprised when I did get kaiju, like he just kaiju's the Pulao. You know, you think at this point like it's game. It's trains, right? Trains OTK. That's what they're about. Like they OTK that huge freaking like Libi guy, or Liba, whatever you prefer to pronounce it. You know, burn 2000, go in the Libe. But fortunately, I only have 1 attack position monster on his kaiju. You know, I guess that's another benefit. Like it's kind of hard to OTK Yang Zings. You know, I mean the Chiwin isn't floating. The Chiwin isn't floating. He doesn't. I don't think you realize that the Chiwin doesn't float when it revives stuff from the graveyard. But we have Providences in the graveyard, or Providence singular. You know, if we did have Yang Zings on the board, then you know, good luck OTKing through that. I mean, sure, like Libby can attack multiple monsters, but he'll run out of attacks before I run out of Yang Zings to float into. You know, but he just you know, bam, hits me for like 4,000 something, the 3,800. He attacked into different Niu, which is literally the worst monster you could have attacked into for value, because I'll just Providence Protect. And at this point, he makes was it Gustav or super cannon, whatever. The text is really small on my side. Like the names on Dueling Book, with the way I have it set up on OBS, the names are really small. But he just sets us up to like try and like have some disruption, have some survivability. And it's my turn, and I'm like, let me show you how to really OTK, right? So I go into Yazi, right? I want to force the rail cannon, super rail cannon, to detach its effect and waste Duracrane, right? I want to use up his disruption. I want to force it before I really commit to play, because you can see I haven't normal summoned yet. I haven't pendulum summoned yet. So whatever he uses that on, it doesn't really matter. So Yazi effect targeted. We get into a little argument about like he thinks that detaching Duracrane and using its effect would make Yazi miss timing, which is like goes along with what I'm saying. Like this is a pretty like high, like I don't know about high rated, but this is a while ago. I'm climbing rated right now with this deck, and I think but this is a different topic. But right, like this is a pretty decently rated person, with a decent like okay amount of experience, not a lot, definitely not a lot, but an okay amount of experience. He's trying to argue that like Yazi misses timing from Duracrane F earlier, but we're just basically like, I don't really care if that. I don't think we know if that card was. It's not Nibiru. I'm pretty sure he searched it, so we're just popping off like back to F, spin everything that's not unaffected like that guy. I was actually in a really awkward position because what I wanted to do was what was it? I wanted to be able to fusion summon because I need another pop. I needed the reason why I'm doing this really weird play is because I used Gold Driver pop already, and I needed to save it up and use it again so I could use Chi and Grave F to get more monsters out. But so what I ended up doing was I fusion summoned to Mithrium, right? And obviously Oracle revived Dune, and I bounced my own Gold Driver, so I would have a bounce again. Unfortunately, I drew a combination. Like I swear, the DB shuffling system is super suspicious sometimes. But now we have. So the whole reason we bounced Gold Driver and went for the fusion play, not only to have more monsters just in general to attack with, but I mean just inherently that's just a good thing to have when you're going for a game. But also, so we have a pop again. We could pop Giatu. Both of those effects would activate. Giatu affecting Chi and F. And once again, he tries to argue that it misses timing. It's like whatever, we get a judge. It's settled in a reasonable manner. And then we have game. Like even when it's unaffected, I mean, Boral Sword with half of that attack added onto it is higher than this guy's defense, right? So we punch through that, and then we have a bunch of pretty decently sized monsters. Like he knew it was game, and that was game one, right? And so game two, he makes me go first again, which I was kind of expecting, So I cited Nibiru, like hear me out. Like I think this deck is really good at being conservative with its resources, and like if I want to like kind of make disruptions like without having like a ton of cards on board, then I think having going first Nibiru is really strong because no one's going to play around Nibiru going second. That's just like something that most decks aren't able to do, especially if you're a combo deck. Like no one would expect you to keep Nibiru like going first. So I thought that was the right play. You can disagree. Like I wouldn't blame you if you did. So right now I was just being conservative, right? I just had two guys set. I have Chiwin set up. I have Zephyr. If it dies, I get a search. I was thinking about going for a Yang Zing, as a Yang Zing floater. But then when I thought about him playing Kaijus and stuff, I would get more value out of Zephyr going to the extra deck than a Yang Zing just getting Kaiju and sent to the graveyard, right? And also, like, if he really wanted to, like, really wanted to, he could make, I believe he could make probably Xigma's timing anyway with like Derek Crane stack, like Derek Crane, whatever. Not that he was capable. I don't think he was, that caliber of a player to think of that play. But just hypothetically, if he could, I didn't really want to fall victim to that. So I just felt like differently was the highest value thing. He twin torches my scales. By the way, nice Nibiru, very live in this matchup. I mean, I don't know if he counted the summons game one, but I guess game one I was super Nibiruable. Like I didn't make the Appaloosa play, which is we normally always go for Appaloosa, but I just since I knew his cards in hand weren't Nibiru, I had no reason to play like that. So maybe it felt like Nibiru would be a good side, but unfortunately, we both have dead Nibirus in hand. Spoiler alert: this Nibiru does not get used this game because he summons exactly 4 times, right? And he pops my different EU, which I was kind of like, I was kind of mad about because like if I had a Yang Zing on board, it would float because this thing has the "and if you do" clause, which means it's simultaneous to burn and the pop. So the Yang Zing would float, Chi would proc. I could actually synchro to a negate too, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because even with no monsters on board, he still couldn't game me at 7,000 life points, and I still got the search and stuff. So I mean, nice OTK deck. I mean, they just passed turn, but you're gonna see here now we're gonna start doing some like anti-Nibiru stuff. Like we just don't want to get Nibiru, and like I think like I'm kind of suspicious he has it. So the way we're gonna do this, right? We're not gonna commit the normal summon, because if he Nibiru's us, I want to be able to normal summon, make a link 2. But then again, like I can't make Lambda with the mirror token, but just being able to normal summon and then make a link, right? Like just having plays like that. Which is why I went for this fusion summon play. I fused away an unnecessary Zafrath and Silver, so I could use Oracle F to special summon. Believe I special summon, yeah, Gold Driver, right? I could have actually special summoned the Nibiru out of my hand, which I thought about doing at the time. I think I thought about it after I did this play. I was like, fuck, I think special summoning Nibiru out of my hand would have been higher value, but it's whatever. And I don't think the Nibiru going first play, I think it was still validated because if he summoned any other monster, even if he kaiju'd me, like he could have probably gained me if he summoned an extra monster like he has an extender. But he would have been Nibiruable then. So either he's Nibiruable and I win that way through just wiping all his cards, or he doesn't, fall into Nibiru territory, but he doesn't have enough cards to game me through, whatever I have, which I mean, I guess one defense deficient monster is enough for me to not be gamed apparently. But we have 2 cards on board, not Nibiruable yet. This is 2 summons, right? I bounce his XYZ, get a draw. That's a pretty huge draw, by the way. Like getting just any Yang Zing. I mean, I think we still probably would have gamed him without that, but just the fact that we drew a Yang Zing just already sealed his fate. So now we're at 3 summons. Mithrium, floats. That's the 4th summon. And, oh shit, I kind of want to go back now, but I'm at 5 summons right now. I normal summon Bismuth, that's 5 summons. He could have buried me. I would have definitely still won just because drawing Jiatu is so huge. I think I might have been able to OTK. Probably, definitely not OTK, but having a gate for whatever like play he has, and this would get shuffled. He would have no cards in hand, or I mean, he'd have no cards on board. His top deck would be negated if it was something relevant. This isn't relevant, and this would be able to add a kaiju, right? But that doesn't matter. Like, could it add itself? No, it can't add itself. So yeah, add the kaiju, not relevant at all. He would still get negated by different divine strike. So it's definitely a losing game regardless if he Nibiru'd. But I just think the fact that he didn't Nibiru me when I was at 5 summons, like I don't know if he's waiting for the pendulum summon or not. Just to see that fat, sexy Appaloosa, I just thought it was funny. And I'm gonna refresh this in a second, but you'll see that I gave him time. Like I waited before I did the Appaloosa summon because I was really like, man, I don't want him to lose like this. You'll see, like I waited a pretty like decent amount of time before I went to Appaloosa, but at this point it's like little shebang, like damn, like pendulum summon 3, Baxia shuffle, it was game, Let's actually refresh it. I think let me see if I can do this on OBS. I think I can restart it. Like if I just do that, yeah. We're gonna fast forward to game 3. So while we wait for that, as we can see, like this deck does not have problems being really explosive when it needs to, especially turn like when your board's set up, like it's over. Like your opponent really has to like stop you dead in your tracks like a floodgate or something, or you're really going off on them in terms of like advantage and just removal and damage is like really impressive, and also just synchros, just synchro something like Baxia and Yazi and stuff, and be able to abuse Chi and Grave F multiple times. They get like free link material. It's like kind of like I don't know if I would make a comparison to something. I guess you could say it's like a levy, like almost like a pseudo worst level eater kind of thing. Like be able to use Chi and then you can summon another copy from your deck, and obviously Chiwin's a hard one per turn, but that means like using Chiwin Grave F on the opponent's turn, and then on my turn I can summon a Chiwin from the deck, link it away, and then pop a Yang Zing, summon it back and stuff like that. Like just that kind of interactions is really powerful and it's something that I think people underestimate. But I think we're about to get. Oh damn, we're still even fast forward. This takes a while. We're about to get into the game 3 pretty soon, but you can see like a big part of playing this deck is playing around Nibiru, right? We either make an Appaloosa or just staying under 5 summon. Like this, like if you get Nibiru in this deck, I mean it really hurts. And the really rare circumstances where you like for me that never really happens to me because I'm very scared of Nibiru as a player. As someone playing this deck, I never really allow myself, even if it costs me like not OTKing, if I'm in a favorable like winning position advantage wise, and I feel no pressure to game him that turn, like I won't go for a game. Like I'll just stay at 4 summons with like a link or something, attack with that, and then end my turn. Right? If he didn't have Nibiru, he probably still wouldn't win. And if in the scenario where I think going for game isn't worth the chance of being Nibiru, and that instantly losing me the game. And another thing I like to mention is that I think this is definitely the best variant of Yang Zings. Some people ask me, what did you think of like True Draco? Yeah, not Draco. I guess one person's like Draco, but like True King Yang Zing, like a deck that's actually one world and stuff. I'm thinking like the pendulum mechanic is just so strong and so abusable in this deck with Metalfoes and the synergy it provides. I think that's far superior than like just like the explosive like boom that True Kings offer. That they don't really have a lot of recovery. Like if you use your whole hand for a board and then that board gets out, like you just kind of lose. But with this deck, you have counter, you have Ying Zing, like recurring over again. You have Metalfoes scales constantly plus oneing from popping Ying Zings. I think that's just inherently more value than what True Dracos provide, like just pendulums and the synergy that Metalfoes have, just better than. But we're at the spot now. We're gonna see how long I waited, not fast forwarded, to see if I like. I'm pretty sure I waited a pretty decent amount of time, right? So one summon to to this normal speed now, just in case. 3, 4, 5. Let's see how long we waited. Okay. See, that's pretty long. Especially I made the link summon really slow. I think that's acceptable amount of time. You can't really get mad about that. If your judge called me about that, I think I'd be in favor. I didn't instantly link it to the Appaloosa. I just waited for a bit because I knew that was the 5th summon. And at this point, So that's about it. I mean, I'm about to end the recording right now. I thought this would be a shorter video, but unfortunately, it's just another 45-minute theory slog fest, right? If you made it this far, please comment. I'd like just offer some opinions and theory you have about the deck. I'd love to hear feedback about what you think of the deck and how it operates and plays. I want to spread some discussion and theory around, maybe possibly build a community. You know what I mean? That's the kind of goal of these videos anyway. So if you like it,
I guess you can like and subscribe if that's what you like. That's what you want to do. I don't know. That's all I'm really looking for, but that'd be that's cool. Because at the end of the day, it spreads the videos around stuff like that. So yeah, that's about it. Sorry about the long video again. I lied to anyone who I said this would be between 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know. I just like to talk about it, I guess. So, alright. See you on the flip side.